Hey guys, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning, here tonight to chat about this new Salem album, Fires in Heaven. Salem are Michigan-based witch house pioneers who, despite being one of the more well-known acts in the witch house world, haven't really released that much material over the years. Their early days showed them releasing a lot of EPs and mixtapes, but not really a full-length album. To this day, their only album remains 2010's King Knight, which personally I enjoy. I kind of consider it like almost like a cult classic. I mean, I also am all for cheesy, over-the-top, practically goofy material. So hearing this blaring, campy, dark and electronic album at the time, I enjoyed, and I still do, at least somewhat. It's been a while. It's been 10 years, and the singles that have been leading up to this have been honestly pretty hit and miss. Let's chat about this thing. This album starts off with Capulets, and honestly, I like this as an intro. It is so unbelievably cheesy at points, like I can't help but shake my head at points. But it's the sort of cheesy, campy factor that I actually really enjoyed about King Knight years ago. It is completely over the top, and I love how genuinely classy this instrumental is. It's ridiculous and might not be for everyone, but I personally had a blast with this. On the other hand, this album's title track, Fires in Heaven, is much more along the lines of what I expected to hear. Bulky beats, twisted synths, and weird samples. Abundance of them all as well. I mean, this is Salem by the books. If you're into the ultra dreary, dark and electronic of King Knight and their other early material, you're gonna love this. I also love how otherworldly this is. It's also super hazy, practically psychedelic. I mean, maybe this isn't for everyone, but for now, I'm having some fun. Crisis, once again, is kind of right around the lines of what I expected to hear. The beat here is absolutely bone-shattering, and we get these trademark, practically chopped and screwed vocals. It's massively depressive and so dreary. It's also, like, very real. It's very intense. And honestly, for the moment, I can't help but eat this all up. I mean, stylistically, it's nothing wildly new. It's super cheesy as well. But if you like Salem, and you like their very twisted approach to darkened electronic, aka Witch House, you're probably gonna like this too. Sears Tower, on the other hand, is even more twisted, even more dismal. It's much harsher on the ear, and it is just so freaking noisy. But it's also oddly cinematic and epic as well. In their own way, that is. It actually shows some genuine progression here as well, which makes me happy. It's super cosmic, it just feels otherworldly once again, and the eventual dance beat that pops in is really great as well. And I do really love the urgency of Red River and just how in your face it is. It's just so murky, so visual. Which, if you know Salem, you shouldn't be too shocked to hear any of this. But this one comes off like some gritty, weird snuff film. And once again, this is a super niche sound. If you're not into bulky beats and warped vocals, you're probably going to hate most of this. But for me, for the moment, I love how hypnotic and dreary this is. So far, I was enjoying a lot of this album, but Salem almost completely fall apart with the second half here. Let me tell you, this album has a seriously boring side, starting off with Starfall, which was released a while back as a single, and it is one of the most boring, genuine piles of trash I've heard all year. I don't know who out of nowhere told Salem they could kind of put out a darkened synth-pop tune, but this is not good. This is cheesy for all the wrong reasons. The vocals are pathetic and overdramatic, and the production isn't nearly as flattering. All of a sudden, I feel like Salem are trying to be something that they're not. And that goes double for Wings. This track is just awkward. Usually, I'm a proponent for trying something new, thinking outside the box, but this is not it. This is far from an emotional, darkened synth-pop tune, just about the farthest thing from it. This is just awkward. This beat is goofy, and the vocals here are some of the worst on the entire album. Not only that, but nothing happens. I will say this, they do give me hope with Old Gods. As far as like a deep cut goes, one of my favorite tracks here. Once again, this is super tortured. This almost sounds like a less heady version of something that 106 Point never would have done on Garden of Delete. But despite it being super noisy and super abrasive, it's also arguably the catchiest track here. It's just such a sharp formula for Salem. Like, if they're planning on releasing a new album sometime in the next 10 years, I guess, this would be a great sound for them. But Braids is super disheartening. Here, I feel like Salem are working with 8 good ideas, but trying to put them in together into something that just doesn't work. Listening to a lot of the smaller elements piece by piece here, I think there are a lot of good ideas here, but together it's sloppy. They completely lose me with Die With Me. Honestly, I think some of the most emotional tracks here are some of the album's best. It gives the album that tortured vibe that I like about Salem. This is not even close. It's really drawn out to unbearable levels at times. I don't know why, but this sounds like 3 times as long as it actually is. And not much of a life as a finale. Man, I don't know what happened to this album. It really got off the rails very fast. This is the culmination of basically everything I haven't liked about this album. It's so drawn out, and it's laughably cheesy. Once again, it's a real shame listening back to the first couple of tracks here. I don't know what happened to the tortured vibes that we were getting earlier, but all of a sudden we're in the middle of Goofball Central. The drama, the intensity of the earlier tracks here have just up and left. I don't know what else to say. This album starts off pretty well with Salem evolving, progressing into a sound that I think actually works for them, but the second half of the album is plagued by bad production, bad ideas, bad vocals, and just an overall lack of focus. I don't know if they're doing anything sometime in the next 5 or 10 years. I don't know when it's going to be the next time we hear from Salem, but there's a lot of good ideas here that they should stick with and a lot of bad ones as well. I'm up in arms. This is a very average release and I expected a lot more from it. I'm feeling a decent to strong 6 on this album, but let me know what you guys think down below. If you like the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, guys.